Republican or Democrat issue. And it's really sad that on social media
live,
it seems to be
people.
blowing up right now. Everybody
And
looking
the
to blame
situation
or
is
blame
pretty
on someone. We're
stupid.
never going to get anything done if we continue to do that.
No, and talking
Kinda
about
hot
both
and
sides,
warm
see
out
this picture
here.
here. So,
You hear all this crap
this
going on
picture
in
was
the
all over
background.
Twitter today, basically of white nationalists on the left and anti-protesters on the right fighting back. So there were two sides. And the president addressed that today when he held his news conference.
So,
and he talks about, condemning in the strongest possible terms.
I'm watching this video
bigotry,
of these people and all this bigotry and all this crap, and you wonder what kind of people are we as Americans. Baker's Rebellion. So, what are we as Americans? Are we really uncivilized? Are we really that bad a group of people? You know, I was watching the PBS film of The American Dilemma, and it spoke about racism and how, people, just put it like this. It's the same fucking story. There's a bunch of white people who want a white state, and they want to believe everything they was told growing up is the truth, and it's not. A lot of that colonialism crap was a lie. The fact that there are laws put in place to make you feel superior, and then the truth is the truth. If for years you hold a group of people back, and eventually they're going to just say fuck it and give up, you can teach a bunch of people that they're bad forever, then they'll believe that shit forever. But the problem with black people is that they believe they're bad. Some of them have been taught that they're bad their whole lives. You'll never be shit. You'll always be exactly what you are. You go out and try to get a job and somebody calls you nigger, you complain about it, you lose your job. Things like this happen in California and places all across this country. And it's been like that ever since so-called slaves were set free. But you have to remember, people, that before the slaves were even set free, the indentured servants, the slaves, and everybody fought for freedom. They fought for freedom for everybody, for blacks and whites. And apparently the Europeans felt as if we have enough money to make one group of people look good. They filled up the Congress and the Senate, and they voted on laws. And there's a lot of white people that wasn't going for that shit. It's like, yeah, we're equal. But they changed the laws. So, if you're a white person and you didn't give a shit about a black person, you don't care what, it's just another person to you, decide to hire the best person for your job, they will burn your company down, your whole business down, steal all your cattle and fuck your wife and all that bullshit they would do if you stood up for somebody other than yourself, other than your own so-called creed or race. But when white people and black people fought for equality, they fought for over a year. The fight was so intense to stop the inequality and the poor treatment of slaves. Because, see, even the slaves were set free and had freedom. Even the indentured servants were set free and had freedom. The problem was the rich Europeans infiltrated the system, put in a bunch of laws that divided and conquered the people. And now in 2017, this shit has been going on since 1681. And you think, you give people a bunch of crappy education, you undereducate the whites and the blacks, you make it too expensive for somebody to go to school, but life is good enough for them to survive. But now, there is no survival. You got the wife, the husband, the kids, everybody has to work in the fucking house to pay the bills. The so-called promises of superiority or just that. It was the image, the appearance of freedom. Oh, us white people are free now. We can do whatever the fuck we want. But you fail to realize, if you're running from tyranny, you don't inflict tyranny upon somebody else. And your identities have been stolen by these same fucking Europeans that gave you the same rights as the Europeans, as the Englishmen. But in America, those rights were slated. They benefit. They are rich. They are powerful. And you still are an indentured fucking slave. You see, You weren't called a white man before 1681. You were what you were from your region. You were Irish or Croatian. Shit, you weren't just European. You weren't English. But now you're an American, and now you think your shit don't stink. You think that this whole country belongs to you, that you've earned it, that you worked hard for it. But no, you were indentured slaves that happened to be the same color as the people that fucking enslaved you. So with a bunch of promises that have never been kept, this is what the fuck happens. See, you brown people are not your enemies. It's those ones who gave you your so-called freedoms that you don't fucking deserve. Because when two people or groups of people are fighting for something, and then one group is giving it, and the other group don't get it, and then you just like forget about the people that helped you get it, you're reaping what you sowed. We have a president whose father was an immigrant who came here and inflicted his will upon other people who didn't have no money. So America has always been a whore. Now, if you got some money to pay somebody or to give somebody to get ahead or to get something here in this country, shit, you're all good to go. As long as you don't help nobody fucking black or Mexican or poor. Because if you're a poor white person and you can't climb up the ladder in which we gave you, then you're shit. And that's exactly how white people get treated in this country. There are more white slaves in America than black slaves. And you people do not believe me. There's Disney videos saying, let's go after the black money because white people don't have money anymore. See, we are all stupid in this country. Even me. I'm giving you a bit of knowledge that you don't even think I should even know. But I'm smart enough to know that all it takes is 35 minutes to find something. Then look at it. Then study it. And within them 30 minutes, you'll get 1,500 hours of proof that this group of people was given everything. And now the arrogance and ignorance is boiled over the top so damn far that it's ridiculous. Who would think that they deserve a whole entire country to themselves? And these people are our problem. So when you remove your problem, you know what's going to happen. You're going to have another problem. It'll be the poor white people who just can't get it together. Then you're going to want to get rid of them too, right? But then you're going to also think, well, I'm not one of them. But the reality is, you're not the same as those people who run this place who you believe to be the same as you. You're not the same as them. You never have been. You never will be. And that's the truth. You're just a regular person who was an indentured slave, who got a bunch of rights, and thousands of years later, you're finally realizing that you got the shit end of the stick, and all your hard work and shit goes to some fucking body else because there's a divide and conquer. They pulled you away from us, told you were gods, made you believe it through colonialism and fucking the educational system, and now you ain't shit because they're telling you you're not shit. You're not worth them helping anymore. You're not worth the time that they invested in you. It's because you allowed them to do this to America, not us. We together fought. Baker's Rebellion, hashtag it. Think about it. White people became white people in 1681. 1681. And in the 1670s, you were fighting with black people, with the Indians, for freedom. I think it was 1676. There's a great rebellion. And the rebellion was so strong that the mayors called London and they sent the troops. They had to send the British fucking army because the whites and the blacks in America was about to get their fucking country. See, nothing founded on blood, sweat, and tears will ever last forever. Nothing. So you got indentured whites. You got enslaved blacks. You got disgruntled Indians because they were shitted on, fucked over. You got the indigenous black tribes of America. All of these entities were together fighting for freedom. And one component flipped the script, stopped fighting, took the deal. Years later, 1681, Congress jumped together and started writing these laws that made it illegal for blacks and people of color to do anything or to have anything in this country, elevating the Europeans who looked white and thus giving the indentured white people of America new freedoms. And now, you've recognized that you don't have any freedom. It's 2017, and none of the promises have ever been kept. You hate black people, you hate Mexicans, but you can't find it in your heart to go take down that fucking corporation that allowed your grandmother and grandfather to have cancer and die. You are not going against those police who wrongfully shot your cousins and your brothers. You are not going to stand up for anything anymore because you believe you have a chance to live just like Donald Trump. But you don't. It's time that those who don't have, regardless of who you like or don't like, stand together and fuck the corporation. The bank can close and you can lose your house, but somehow get a bill from a fucking bank telling you that you still got to pay for that house that you don't have. But the bank somehow gets bailed out because they look like you. You think they give a fuck about you? Took your farm and told you you can't farm no more? Out of all the sacrifices and the turning and the bridge burning that you've had to do to get to this point, and they tell you to your face that you got nothing coming, you still got the audacity to blame a black and a Mexican for your problem? You cannot look at the top of the totem pole because you're scared if it looks back you will die? What kind of fear do white people have? That they got to ride up and down the streets and run over people, lynch people in the dark? It's been thousands of years, man. What kind of bullshit goes through your mind? You raped and pillaged the same country that you fucking live in. You raped and pillaged your own women throughout history and our women throughout history. And then you want and you expect somebody to respect you because you are a white male. You don't deserve that respect. You left the people that helped you fighting for your freedom back in the cold. You forgot when they went there to make that legislature that you should have been on those boards. You should have been there to fight for those people who fought for you. But now, in 2017, if an alien ship came down right now and said, hey, to every person of color, what do you want us to do? How many people do you think would say, okay, let's save everybody? If God came down and said, hey, how should we restructure this to every single person on the planet? How many people would want it to be the same way? If something terrible was to happen, could challenge to wipe out all humanity, how would people trust other people other than themselves to make sure that all of humanity can be saved? Haven't anybody watched Elysium? Haven't anybody watched The Dark Crystal? Haven't anybody watched any of these movies where they show you the separation and divide? Have anybody watched the last few McConaughey movies, it's just ridiculous. And black people have been raised, and through television and everything, have been raised to believe that they are inferior. And they've heard this shit, most of them have heard it for so fucking long that they don't even care. Why would anybody get up and do anything to try to make life better for anybody else if you created something to save lives? They wouldn't even let you use it on your own people. See what I'm saying? If you were a person of color and you created something that would make everybody a super genius, and you announced that you're gonna cure your people first, you would die before your fucking announcement was fucking over with. Why is that? Why is there such a great need to be better than somebody fucking else? And who shows the need to have this? Most people of color don't even care anymore. But like I said, if there was a great something, even if the sun turned into an eye, and then you heard a voice says, "Focus on evil, and it shall be gone." Who do you think would vanish off the face of the earth faster? Us or those who created the evil? Now, I'm telling you, and people say, "Oh man, you're just a racist." How can I possibly be racist? I'm not telling black people to go kill white people. I'm not telling white people to go kill black people. I'm telling people that they've been lied to, lied on, and lied about. The so-called white people, their image has been stolen to create this evil. You don't hear people saying, "Them damn Europeans." You hear people saying white people. You don't hear people saying those European founders, George Washington was a piece of shit. You don't hear people saying that. You don't. Like I said a couple of weeks ago, who coined the phrase "poor white trash"? And that's another thing. The judicial system. Oh, so many black people. Black people always commit crime. There's more white people in America allegedly than black people. More black people locked up because of the way the situation works. The situation works on fear. Black is evil, black is bad. White is good, white is angelic. You need to remember one thing about the angels that came down here to this planet. The angels were fucking completely evil. They taught a peace-loving people war and drugs. In other words, you got to get a bunch of people high and then point out, hey, you know, those other things are different than you. It's bullshit. The whole circumstances we live in, this whole human farm that we call America, is bullshit. And it was hijacked a long time ago by a bunch of narrow-minded children who think, oh, if white women and black women get together, they'll be too powerful. And then, if black men and white women get together, they will erase all white men from the face of the earth. How illogical can that possibly be? As long as there's a white woman out there willing to love a white man, they'll always have white kids. And if you think, just because you have some brown in your family, that your whole family's gone down, I suggest you go back through the history of this whole goddamn family and find out how brown you really are. But life is not about black and white. Life is about survival. And if one group of people thinks that they cannot survive unless we are gone, then that is a fucking problem. But this people, they're simple. And I'm talking to poor white people now. These rich people that control this world never gave a fuck about you because they wanted to enslave you in England, but they couldn't do that. They weren't smart enough to enslave you in England. But when you got with the blacks and when you got with the Indians and when you got with their asses, they hurry up and figured out a kind of way to use you some more. And thousands of years have gone by now, and you're all fucking used up, and they don't fucking need you no more. And you know what happens, because the final solution happened in Germany. They about to kill a whole bunch of poor white people by making you mad at black people first. So you'll kill a bunch of blacks, and then the rich blacks will be hidden away somewhere, no problem. they'll be hidden. Then the rich whites will be hiding. And everybody will be fighting each other out. For what? Half the blacks have had their guns taken from them a long time ago. And all the so-called Mexican gangs, they're taking their guns right now. But you don't hear them taking guns from white people, do you? Because they want to save those white people from when they say, look, now we have to stop this evil. And then they're going to round up all the people they juiced up and they're going to slap them in ovens, just like they did in the last great sacrifice when a so-called group of white people decided they wanted to sacrifice their poor, the ones that they did not like. But you have another group of people calling it the Holocaust. We all know who paid for that, the same people who are benefiting from it. And you know, before you go ahead and say I'm saying some anti-Semitic shit, I'm black. So I can't be an anti-Semite unless I say something negative towards black people who are truly the real true Jews. So let's go someplace else and let's leave it at that with that Jew thing. So I'm going to leave that alone. People, poor white people and poor black people have been eating shit forever. Poor black people just knew it was really shit. White people didn't think it was shit. They thought it was a steak. And now it's shit. You need to turn on your European handlers because it's too late. Because I don't think any Mexicans or blacks will help you. So my battery's running low. So I'm going to have to hurry up and wrap this up. White people, it's time for another rebellion. But not the one you're thinking. It's time that the races got together and took out the top. And the number one way to do it is through their pockets. Poor white people, it's time for you to start going to the Hispanic stores to shop. Stop going to the big box stores that are owned by the corporation that constantly fucks you. The same thing to black people. You don't own your own shops no more because they shut that shit down. Hashtag Black Wall Street. So I want you motherfuckers to understand this. Go to the Hispanic stores and buy your food. Stop spending money with these people. And then they will change their ways. Because they really don't give a fuck about anything except for what they can take from us. But if they kill us all, they have nothing to take from. They'll just move to China and try to fucking rob those people. So what we need to do as a people here in America is say fuck the elitists. Stop spending money with these motherfuckers. Learn how to cook your own food. Learn how to grow your own food without the GMO seeds. Learn how to be self-sufficient again. Hashtag Bakers 2018. If you know what I'm talking about, then look it up. 1676, baby. 1675. 1677, 1678, 1679,
people are deliberately avoiding the
1680, and the day for freedom, the year of freedom for white people, 1681. Take that treaty, grab it back up the ass, get your freedom back. Everybody, love yourself. Please. Don't go out killing people for these other people so they have a reason to kill you.
Injured as white supremacists or
poor white people,
scrapped with
white nationalists, white supremacists.
Emancipation Park in downtown
look real close. You're not their troops. You're my troops. I call on you, all of you white supremacists. Go to Wall Street. Step on their money. And remember, nobody black ever held you back. We don't hold the strings that created you. They do. Europeans that fucked you, fuck everybody else. So it's time for you to go fuck them. Leave me the fuck alone. I can point you out. I can tell you where to go. But hey, you're not them. And you can see it right now on that TV. They're not you. So people, love yourselves. White people deserve the right to be upset.
Baseball-sized
But everybody does.
Sticks that they use with great effect.
If you need to look at the situation,
neither of the two
we didn't
sides
start this fire.
Looking for peace today. But the worst damage, obviously,
We just tried to pull you out.
Car that deliberately
We tried to tell you several times that they don't like you.
Then rammed two other cars.
They don't care.
The driver then thrust it into reverse.
They never
and did
will.
more damage, running over more pedestrians.
They never can care for you.
Police chief Alex had to say
So
about
poor
that.
white people, it's time to get back to where it's supposed to be. It's time to come back to the fold. It's time to make America real again. This false face shit, this fake false shit, this TV show shit, that ain't America. We are many. We are a lot. But we are more than just that.
And that
We're more than
investigation
just
is
that.
underway right behind me, as you see. The
We're
barricade
free.
behind me. Two of the cars that were involved in that collision still in place there as police take.
Don't spend your money
Very curious
with
to
the
see
European
what the
interests
motivation of
that
the
hold you
driver of the
back.
car was. And a huge police
Poor
presence
people,
here tonight in
white
Charlottesville.
people,
The helicopter
supremacists,
that
whatever, don't give them your money. Don't buy their beer. Don't buy their alcohol. Don't buy their
Good to see
food.
It's quieting down. Let's hope it stays that way. Doug,
Poor blacks.
Thank you so much.
Don't give them shit.
Number of injuries, meantime, from today's violent
Bakers,
crash.
2018.
More than a dozen people who were hit by
Do it
that
right
car.
this time.
Just, reporting on
No
LCD
divide and
at
conquer.
the UVA Medical Center. Earlier, it was on lockdown.
No death camps for Bill Gates.
Ellison, how is it there now?
No death camps for Bill
Right now,
Gates.
police at this, or excuse me, officials at this hospital say that they are treating 5 people in critical condition.
The
and
nucleus of
4
love.
in serious condition. A
Look at the
spokesman for
nucleus.
hospital tells Fox News that 20 people were brought to UVA
Look
Medical
at the
Center
nucleus.
today, in addition to the 9 in critical or serious
Both the
condition.
nucleuses are black
6 are listed as
and
fatal,
white.
4 are listed
Each
as
world is
dead.
always gonna be
1 person
connected,
passed away.
intertwined
Police officers
forever.
Killed during the clashes died
People
after
remember to
a car
love somebody other than yourself.
what witnesses describe as
We represent us.
protesters or anti-white nationalists.
We
One
represent
witness told
us.
Fox News that they walked
All
down the
whites,
road
all
10
blacks,
seconds before
all
that crash
walks of
happened. They said it
race
was a happy scene. People were
represents
jubilant, and
us,
then the crash happened. Here's what
not
the police chief
them.
had to say about
They
the
hold
injuries.
us back. We are a burden on them because they don't want us to be one. Because if we're united, everything is real, everything is fixed, and everything is free. A world that we can work on to make together better for everybody. There won't be a race.
Say at least 35 people were
Because we've
injured
all
today. They say
finished.
None of those injuries happened because
At
of
the end of this
law enforcement
race,
engagement. Julie?
All right,
there should be
Ellison Barber,
peace.
Thank you very much. President Trump, meantime, reacting to the events in Charlottesville, Virginia, calling the violence sad and urging American unity.